All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel again. Thank y'all so much for coming over. Now, earlier I reacted to Kendrick and Lamar and SZA Luther video. Uh, man, that song. It's just hearing Luther's voice is just, y'all know, man. All you Luther Vandross fans out there, rest in peace to him. That brother voice was smooth like butter, man. But with Kendrick Lamar, there's always more to the story. There always is, man. And in my reaction, I said, I know I'm going to miss a lot. It's probably a lot of hidden clues in here. I want to see someone do a breakdown. I said the video felt a little eerie to me because just watching him, like when they had those cuts and when you seen him firing that gun, I just felt like it was something else. I felt like it was something else. I seen a comment where, and this is what the comment said. This isn't my perspective, but I could see why they were saying that. They were like, is SZA, and they were getting a vibe like maybe she was like a lady of the night, And although Kendrick had his girl, it seemed like he would kind of pull up on her because the way she was like standing outside. Now, y'all know I'm from Compton / South Central. If you been on Figueroa, you know them girls be out there standing on that corner. And that shot of SZA just kind of like standing out there with Kendrick pulled up, and the way that she walked, in that whatever circular room and went to that door with that guy. I don't know, but that's what that other person's perspective was in the comment section. Whatever. But we're here on the Fantastic Hip Hop channel, and it says how Kendrick just trolled Drake and teased new music in the Luther video. Again, something I miss. Trolled Drake. We ain't gonna waste no more time. Let's jump right into it.
Well, right now with Kendrick Lamar, the next phase of his plan to take over hip-hop and his all-time run in the music industry has continued, as right before his Grand National Stadium tour starts, Kendrick just released a music video to the song that has not left the #1 spot for what is about to be 8 weeks in none other than Luther. And really now, with the visuals to go along with this song, what it seems like now is that this run Kendrick is having is gonna last a lot longer. And now from all of the storytelling and messaging in this video, to the subs that Kendrick is throwing right back at Drake in the best way possible after Drake has been trying to mess with Kendrick once again after his Nokia video. I mean, overall, with this brand new video from Kendrick, he has given us something that a lot of people are going to be talking about for so many reasons, because in typical fashion from him, it just opened up so many more doors to what's coming next. And now, before we go any further into this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And so now, with that said, when it comes to Kendrick Lamar and the Luther music video, before we even go into everything that this just paved the way for, as it has seemed like recently in the industry that there has been this effort to try and push Drake's Nokia to compete with Luther and push this new round of a Drake and Kendrick beef almost, where instead of releasing diss tracks, they are competing for a top charting record. Well, after Drake for some reason thought he could take Luther and Kendrick's #1 spot and release a music video where he was subbing Kendrick in so many different ways and have that work.
It's just so corny, man. Drake really be doing some like when you think of the word corny, I can't unsee it now, man. I can't.
Around and thinking he was finally going to get a win with what Kendrick Lamar has created. While Nokia may have already been losing to Luther before it had a video and that song never had more support, Drake is now officially never going to get ahead of this record, and really it seems like no artist is going to for a very long time, because with how stunning these visuals are and how they are about to be accompanied by an entire tour with both artists, Kendrick and SZA are just defining winning like nobody else is. But now when it comes to dissing Drake in the video, which has been a new iteration of Drake's back and forth so clearly, as again, Nokia's video was really more of a Kendrick diss than it even was a moment to showcase that record. Well, for Luther, Kendrick is not dissing Drake here within these super in-your-face ways that obviously just spell out that you are trying to get at him and that this is what you are watching is about. Because again, let's remember that Kendrick knows this is a top-charting melodic song that is supposed to be enjoyable and calm over everything else. And of course, knowing this, instead of making a weird homage to the person you're in a beef with like Drake did, Kendrick just tells a story here that has nothing to do with the guy whatsoever or any beef, and instead has a lot more detail in terms of creating a bigger narrative that relates.
That shot right there, right here.
Kendrick just tells a story here that has nothing to do with the guy whatsoever or any beef, and instead,
like right here when SZA's out here, and how Kendrick is pulling up on her. It just, I was like, you know, the way he was looking out the car, like, what was that? What was this here? You know, the whole, because she has her story, he has his. Yeah.
that has a lot more detail in terms of creating a bigger narrative that relates to the track. But at the same time, while doing all of that, Kendrick fills in the lines and ties this thing together with trolling that if you are in the know about what's going on and everything with Drake especially. I mean, for Drake and OVO, they are gonna be in shambles about, because first off, even with the timing of this video releasing, this is the start of the new music tracking week, and this is the moment in time where Drake and OVO were going to make one all-out push for the last time to try and get Nokia to #1. And so with Kendrick putting this video out for this record that already has the lead right now, again, what he just did was make it all the more impossible for Drake and made sure that he is never going to be able to even act like he has made a comeback, and he will never be able to get that #1 because of that. And again, this just shows you how while Drake disses people for the audience to understand, Kendrick just wants to come in, win, and make the best things possible. He is really on a completely different level because of that. And now when it comes to the actual presentation of the video, first off, with the black and white aesthetic that the video switches in between, Kendrick really has shown how to do a video like this. But again, we shouldn't be surprised because this is the exact camera and color palette that have already been used in key storytelling moments for him, like when he was doing the Grand National Tour videos to announce it with SZA, and with Kendrick switching in and out of color here and of itself. Again, this entire detail and component to the video, while not having its primary reason be to troll Drake, as the use of it is to tell a story and create a visual identity for this track and era of his career, it ends up being great that something like this just shows how much Nokia failed and didn't understand what it was trying to do whatsoever. And now really the funniest troll that Kendrick has done with this entire thing all comes down to who directed the video itself, which this time around it was not Dave Free as usual, which tells me that he must be doing something bigger for Kendrick and PG Lang behind the scenes, is none other than director Karina Evans. And now who she is first off a Toronto native, which is already hilarious, but making the troll even funnier on Kendrick's end, in the past she worked with Drake and directed some of his most popular.
Damn, boy, Kendrick be so slick and sly with it. Whoo. Boy, I know Drake is probably punching the air right now. The question is, because obviously she's a great director, you know. The question now is Drake gonna get her in another video again? Like, as to direct it? Or is he gonna be like, oh, you went to Kendrick? I'm done with you. I'm done. And she's smart, like, you know, to not pass up the chance to work with Kendrick. That's very smart on her part. You know what I mean? Because she could have easily been like, I'm from Toronto. I helped Drake. You know, I know it's business, it's money, but I don't know if this is good for me. Nah, she riding that wave.
Videos from the era where he was arguably the biggest he ever was with his Scorpion album, as she directed all of the lead singles for that record, including tracks like Nice for What, In My Feelings, and I'm Upset. And with this, again, Drake really needs to take notes, because this is how you diss and troll in a music video. Because for Kendrick Lamar, when you think about how fans and people who just like the song are going to hear the video, they are just going to see it as a cool piece of art that matches the song well and gives them something interesting to look at. But meanwhile, beyond the surface, from directorial choices to when it dropped even, You know that Kendrick was trying to troll Drake and once again send a quiet message to him that does not actually step on the art he is making, but is still letting him know that this is his genre, his industry, and that it's his era, and that he is going to have to try a lot harder to even come slightly close. And again, when you compare the subtle trolling in the background of Luther to the weird disses of Nokia, you just see why these guys are in the places they are and why one is kept on winning and why one just keeps losing more and more. But now with the all-time great trolling from Kendrick out of the way, when it comes to the rest of this Luther video, this is really an amazing piece that Kendrick has given us, and even when we compare it to the visuals that we have already seen from him in this era, it's a perfect extension and continuation of everything GNX is about. And now while the
See, I wanna know.
And even when we compare it to the visuals that we have already seen from him in this era, it's a perfect extension and continuation of everything.
I wanna know, like, I wanna know what the meaning is of this part right here. I feel like, it's like I wanted to watch it and enjoy it, but like as a person who does reaction videos, you just want to know, is there more? Just because of how Kendrick is. Like the fact that he has that car covered in red. Like,
GNX is about. And now while the Squabble Up music video felt like its own contained thing, this Luther video is much more expansive and is doing a ton of world building for both the album and tour, because as you can see in this video, and even see how some of the rooms that we are seeing here end up being connected back to that main room that Kendrick Lamar made the GNX trailer in. I mean, this is clearly trying to tell us something bigger, and whether that's about the album itself, a potential deluxe coming, or maybe even what the tour is going to be like and how the presentation is just going to be next level. It's clear that Luther is really trying to expand the scope and is letting us know that what Kendrick Lamar is doing is even bigger than we once understood. But now beyond that, and again, once again, always showing that everything Kendrick does is to expand his art and the story he is trying to tell, and not just make some weird statements that are ultimately pointless like other people. What's really interesting about this Luther video is that just like other Kendrick videos, we don't just see the song get played through here over some visuals, but in multiple times. There are pauses and breaks which are just expanding the story and depth of what Kendrick and SZA put together here.
Right.
And even with the outro of the video, which features a whole section of its own where the actual track that the record samples is playing over. With this, one of the big things about GNX and this era from Kendrick Lamar becomes more apparent than it ever has been, which is that as the Luther Vandross song that this sample gets to play in the background and everyone who may have never heard it gets to listen to it, while there are a lot of other plot threads and ideas in this music video that need to be explored and really do need their own breakdowns, what Kendrick makes more clear than ever, both by this record being such a big song, and then now letting all of these people who may have never actually heard the real track get to experience it with.
And that boy, again, it amazes me how sometimes like people don't really understand that, a lot of these youngsters be thinking like a lot of the artists they don't understand like the history or like people sampling. Like Luther was the man. All right, I'm about to be 45 years old. And me and my wife been together for 20 years. So, hey, the love is there. The understanding is there. You know what I mean? But boy, I'm telling you, you just never too much, never too much. Boy, hey, Luther got some bangers. Oh, that's why I was so excited when Kendrick dropped this song. Not just the video, the actual song. And then paid homage by titling it Luther. Shout out to the Wood.
Some amazing visuals that Kendrick has curated, that overall and what we are about to seemingly find out on this tour and with whatever other surprises Kendrick Lamar may have, is that while this GNX era is so meaningful for Kendrick himself and represents his rise over everything in the industry like we have never seen before, it's also bringing up others with him and putting the industry within a better place. And now whether that's with all of the new rappers he has helped put on, or it's like what we are seeing here, which is by honoring and giving homage to one of the greatest voices ever in music who was notoriously disrespected by the industry in his time, and for being snubbed at award shows over and over again to never getting that #1 song of his own. Really, what Kendrick is doing here is channeling the past, present, and future of music through him, and is now with this record more than ever, allowing and giving Luther Vandross and his amazing work and contribution to the music world the biggest nod and honor it ever could. And I mean, to just see this and see a song that is literally titled after him, now getting to see the success it is and being the centerpiece to this entire album and what is going to become the Grand National Tour, this is what Kendrick Lamar in this era is all about. And I am sure from here, while we don't know what Kendrick is going to do next specifically, that silence in the...
I also forgot to mention this. Rest in peace to my sister. All right. For those of you who don't know, my sister passed away years ago. She was only 26 years old. She would be 40. She would be 48. She would have turned 48 in August. But my sister was a nurse. She was Barry White and Luther Vandross' nurse when they were in the hospital. All right. So yeah, I would just think about that. And so shout out to Kendrick again for showing Luther some love. That's crazy. They say not a #1 hit. That's insane. Insane.
Video at the end, and a lot of the cryptic hints from closed off doors and sections within the same GNX room is really showing and telling us that more is going to come from here, and that Kendrick is really planning to take over the industry a lot more, because everything is indicating this. And so all together, when you put all of this into perspective, Luther isn't just a statement that is going to raise the bar for the song and the tour. But even with Kendrick working with the director who did the videos for what was Drake's biggest album in terms of the major songs on it, I think this is another moment for Kendrick where it is showing that he is now the guy that Drake thought he used to be, and that these records are the type of moments dominating the industry that Drake used to think he created. And I really think with that understanding of this video, what everyone should see is that this is Kendrick Lamar's claim to solidify himself as not just the biggest rapper right now, but really, based on what we have seen, the biggest hitmaker in all of music at the moment, and going forward from here, if Kendrick is going to be able to embody flash and spectacle with storytelling and purpose like we see right within Luther, everyone better get back, because the dot era is only going to change everything a lot more. And so now with all that said, let me know. What do you think about the Luther music video from Kendrick Lamar? What do you think about all of these details? And where do you think Kendrick Lamar is going to go from here? Now, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about all of this. And now, if you made it to this point in the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And now, if you want to see how right in this time, right before this, Drake got so desperate to make Nokia a bigger record that he disrespected some major music legends in the worst way, and really how this just shows the difference between him and Kendrick so much, and shows why this is going to be Kendrick's era for so long, and why Drake is going to be done soon. Because really, just like we have seen with Luther, Kendrick Lamar respects the entire lineage of music, and Drake just does not whatsoever. Check out the suggested video.
Drake ain't gonna go nowhere, because you got a lot of fans who really don't understand the art. You know, they just wanna. And then again, you got people who love the controversy. They don't care about the realness of it. And that's why it's very difficult for me to listen to a lot of these artists today, because the music has no substance, you know? Like, if you never been through nothing in life, when I say that, I'm talking about like real trials and tribulations, it's going to be tough for you to really understand and relate to the music. But on the flip side of that, you have some people who will try to, you know, they'll give it a shot. They'll try to walk in someone else's shoes, right? And then you have people who just listen to stuff and don't even understand what they're listening to. They're just singing along, and a message could be something crazy. They just singing along because they like the beat and they want to dance, you know? But Kendrick is making music to make you think. And that's what I meant when I watched the reaction, when I watched the video to Luther. I was like, there seems like there is something more to this. How much more? I don't know. But I felt like it was something else going on in that video. You know, whether it's him um, taking little shots at Drake or whatever the case may be. But I felt like whenever Kendrick puts something out, he don't put it out just to put it out. You know, he want to make you think. You know, uh, there was no way I wasn't gonna like this song just because when I heard that, if this world were my, oh, that's all it took. That's all it took. You know, I'm just reading some of the comments here, but like that using the Canadian director, yeah. Uh, boys play checkers, men play chess. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just reading. I'm just trying to find a comment that's kind of standing out. But everybody's just saying how much they like the song, love the visuals. That's what I've been seeing the most is the visuals. Um, and you know it's crazy too because like it'd be so many popular old songs, and then some artists will take it like to the next level. Like the I had talked about a while ago, the Dolly Parton, "I Will Always Love You." You know, when Whitney Houston did the cover, a lot of people thought it was Whitney Houston's song. A lot of people don't be knowing like the original. Although it was very popular from Dolly Parton, Whitney Houston definitely took it to the next level. And a lot of people, like I said, if you don't do your research, like, because y'all know I've covered so much music on this channel, and a lot of times people will request the version they like. So if I'm hearing something for the first time and I'm like, dang, this is incredible. And then as soon as I do my upload, here come the comment section. This isn't the original. You should hear the original as well, you know? So, but hey, appreciate y'all coming over. Shout out to Fantastic Hip Hop for the video, man. Peace out.